Old School Automotive back again today, guys. This is going to be part 2 on the carb spacer video, the huge part of carburetor tuning that gets left out of a lot of conversations. And so what I did is I went from this dual plenum spacer to a 4-hole, but it is made out of metal. And here's what I can say about the whole situation. I actually like the way that it runs quite a bit better now. The throttle is more responsive. The vacuum modulator seems to be doing what it's supposed to be doing a little bit easier, which leads me to believe I have a stronger vacuum signal. And that would just be because of the ports in the top allowing the air to move more quickly as it enters into the intake manifold. However, it is made of metal, and what's happening is it's allowing the heat from the intake manifold to seep up into the carburetor, and then when you go to start it after it's been sitting for a little bit, it kind of wants to idle rough and be a little bit weird for me. So what I've done is I've ordered a phenolic one. I prefer the composite wood one like you saw on the dual plenum there. But I could not find a wood 4-hole. So that's probably the second best option. And the other challenge that I have going on here is the height. As you can see, I am just about at the max that this air cleaner can be on top of this carburetor before it starts hitting the underside of the hood. So, you see a lot of times guys going to 1-inch or maybe even 2-inch spacers to fight that heat problem. But unfortunately, I just do not have the space for that. So I've ordered the 4-hole phenolic. It should be here in a couple of days. And I'm going to put that baby on there and see if we can solve that heat soak problem on the carburetor. Like I said, if you guys have been dealing, let's just take this for a good example of what could be happening. So this is a small displacement V8. Most are larger, but you could be dealing with a small displacement V8, whether it be Ford or Chevy. You have a 380 or a 283 or a 289. This is the 289. And maybe you find a carburetor that is inexpensive, and let's just say it's a 600 CFM. Now, there's a whole bunch of people out there that are going to tell you that 600 CFM is not too big. It's not too big. It's fine for that small displacement V8. And it's true. It would run fine. It would be okay. You could drive it. There's no problem there. But chances are, especially when you start getting to altitude like we are here, you're going to fight weirdness. And I'm not going to say it being rich. I'm not going to say it. It's just going to be a little bit weird. And the reason for that is because the pistons are smaller and the stroke is less. And so there's less air being drawn down through the carburetor, which is going to slow down what should be happening, because chances are when this 289 was produced, there's zero, and I mean absolutely zero renditions of it that came out with anything more than, I think the one with the GT350 for this year had a 490 CFM, I believe. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about that. But that just goes to show, they knew that going bigger on the carburetor was not going to get you anywhere except full throttle. That's the only place you're really going to see having a bigger carburetor on your small engine benefit. And I've seen it. Numbers prove it. Honestly, if I remove this 650 and put a 750 on here at wide open throttle, that may make more power. But drivability is the thing that gets left out of the conversation a lot too. And that's the whole reason for me putting this 4-hole spacer on here is just the drivability, and it's not bad. I'm really being nitpicky here. It was totally drivable in every way. The only issue that I had with it was every now and then it seemed like there was a dead spot. Like you'd step on it and it would just be gurgling and not making any power. And it'd take a second, and all of a sudden it'd come to life and go. And after messing with it for literally years and doing some research, I really did come to the conclusion that I think in those situations, the air was not moving fast enough past the jets or the boosters to atomize the fuel. And I guess that I could be wrong about the boosters because this has annular boosters on this one, so it should already be atomized when it comes out. But past the jets, I think it was more or less just coming out in globs into the intake manifold until it reached a certain RPM and that air was moving quickly enough. Now, I'm not an expert by any means. However, I do have quite a bit of experience working on carburetors. Chime in the comments if you guys know anything about this, if I'm on the right track, if I know what I'm talking about, if I'm crazy. Anyway, like I said, this is part 2 of the carb spacer video, and we're going to go with the phenolic one next, and I will be back with that video. Like and subscribe for more, guys.